That's what you fear. And what's been created? A world of materialistic value, possessions. And what do? We value our possessions. When the truth really is, you don't actually own anything, it owns you. And that's how the core belief system has trapped you. Because what do they use against you? If you don't toe the line, we're going to take your possessions. That's how it works. That's how simply it works. That's how simply you're controlled. Take the word consumer. Right. Consumer. You're consumers. You consume things. Generally, if you look at consumers and you look at the way it's set up into primary, secondary and tertiary. That's how it's set up. And I don't want to go into that because that's about animal life, but it does actually relate to what I'm talking about. You're consumers, so you consume things, not just food. You consume all sorts of things. Have you noticed that anything you buy doesn't last much longer than the guarantee? Do you feel that's by mistake? Have you noticed that everything you buy seems to be really high at one time and then suddenly comes down to a very low price? Do you know why that happens? Sell-by dates. Yeah, that's one reason I suppose. Yeah, we'll stick with that one, sell-by dates. Yeah, sell-by dates. Have we not noticed that food doesn't seem to last as long as it used to, even though it's pumped full of so-called preservatives to make it last longer? That sounds very dodgy. Fruit. We go and buy fresh fruit. How long does it stay fresh for? So what am I getting at? It's very simple. A throwaway nation. Yeah. What I'm getting at is you have to go and buy more stuff more of the time. So who benefits from that? Exactly. You're not benefiting from it, are you? But that's a consumer. You're a consumer. But let's reverse it. Let's stick a mirror in front of it and create a 180-degree effect on that. Very simple. Very simple indeed. What happens if you don't consume? What happens to everyone who's producing products for you to consume if you don't consume them products? Oh, now we're getting the picture. So who holds the power? Exactly. That's it, I'm done. You realise now? To fight a system with a system is impossible. It's impossible. You cannot do it. You have nowhere to go for recourse. If you don't understand what recourse means, it means there is nowhere you can go to get justice because there isn't any. There isn't any justice at all. We live in the world of what's called the precautionary principle. Has anybody heard of this? Anyone come from a building site? Health and safety? Precautionary principle. Boots and all that, yeah, to put wood on a wall. Right, we live in a world of this precautionary principle. Now, I don't know if you know this, but your wonderful government, just about a mile down there, got a pretty building. He's just putting through a bill. Do you know, a bill goes through Parliament and becomes an act of Parliament. Now in this bill it says that all public servants are going to be void of prosecution for negligence. It's got something to do with the swine flu. So they can pump you full of this vaccine, and if you suddenly go, or whatever happens to you, they can't be prosecuted for negligence. Precautionary principles. Called the what-if syndrome. That's what I call it. Another thing you might find interesting is that the sovereignty of Parliament is being transferred to every local council. Well, it's all in black and white. Go and look for it yourself, you go and find it. But you haven't got the time to go and look for this stuff, have you? How many of you got the time to actually research anything? What do you look for? What are you researching? You don't want to know. Have I? You don't want to know. Well, that's fair enough. At least you're honest. What are you researching, darling?
I'm campaigning to abolish forced adoptions.
Very good. It's very... You're doing what, though?
I'm dealing with the juggling children in care.
Thank you, that's a good one. I like that one. What are you doing, sir? Yeah, that deserves it. Fair play there. 1 second. I will get to you. I'm not all of you, but I will get to you. What are you doing, sir? Oh, I've done them. Not literally, but... Is there anything you're not actually researching? Well done. No, I'm only jesting. What are you doing, sir?
Psychopathy in politics.
You do what?
Psychopathy in politics.
Oh, that's an interesting subject. What are you doing, darling? Are you now? Now that will be interesting. I look forward to seeing that. I really do. That's fascinating. And what are you doing, sir?
Common purpose.
Oh, are you now? Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. I've looked into it a little bit. I've looked into it a little bit. There's a lady there. What are you doing, love?
I'm looking into the way in which the Forestry Commission is the Forestry Commission, which should be involved with protecting and expanding Britain's woodlands and forests.
Is in complete opposite.
With industrialisation,
Absolutely.
national forest estate by pollution stations in Wales.
In Wales. Beautiful place. And in Scotland. Right. What I was actually getting at was it's fascinating. I'm really pleased you are researching this stuff. I really am. What I'm getting at is how many people didn't put their hands up. Because you haven't got the time, have you, in your busy lives to do anything. And if you haven't got the times because you're too worried about paying council tax, paying the bills, buying food, getting your next telly, what car am I going to have this year, where I'm going on holiday, what I'm going to get the kids for Christmas. So you haven't got time to look. So a lot of things are done behind your back without you even knowing they're going on. But that's the beauty of it. What a beautiful system. What a simple system. See, Einstein talked about simplicity. He talked about genius. Genius is nothing that's complicated. It's simplicity in its essence. Create a core belief system, get everyone to subscribe to it, and all you ever do for the rest of your lives is defend it. And especially if someone like me comes along and says, oh no, it's not like that. Oh, bog off, you're just a tattooed carpenter. What do you know? Not a great deal. But I know something different to what you do. And we all do, actually. When we're talking to people, we all know something different, if we care to listen. But we use these little things we use a thing in our lives called judgment. We judge. We judge people by the clothes they're wearing. We judge people by the way they look, by the colour of their skin. And that's quite relevant at the moment, considering all the so-called terrorism that's going on. I wonder who really are the terrorists. According to the newspapers and the BBC, we're extremists. TPUC has just been labelled as extremists. It's for something we didn't do. We didn't have anything to do with it. It just happens that one of the posters had TPUC written on the bottom of it, so they wanted someone to label. We've been labelled as extremists for targeting Birmingham with swine flu vaccination posters. None of us went there. Nothing to do with us whatsoever. And the BBC have put this all across BBC Midlands. They tried to contact me and Dan 3 times yesterday, trying to get a statement from us. What about saying we want nothing to do with? But it's verbatim, it's on the BBC, and everyone believes it. TPUC are now extremists. We've just got the best form of advertising for actually doing nothing. And it's something me and Elizabeth used to talk about and joke about, because we knew this little thing. We just had this little joke between us, that the less you do, more happens. And it's absolutely true. The less you do, more happens. And it really does.